Hi, I'm Jim.
And I'm David.
And this is the Practical Guitarist Podcast.
The podcast for people who eat, sleep, and breathe guitar. The Practical Guitarist Podcast is brought to you by Great Lakes Guitar Pickups. Great Lakes Guitar Pickups provides fantasy tones at prices a practical guitarist will love. Featuring top-notch construction, attention to detail, and a fully custom product, if you can dream it, Great Lakes Guitar Pickups can probably build it. Follow them on Facebook at facebook.com/Great Lakes Guitar Pickups. Are you a regular listener? Why not? David here reminding you of all the ways you can participate in the Practical Guitarist Podcast. Subscribe using your chosen podcast app. Review us on iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or Google Play. Find our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Practical Guitarist or on Twitter as @PractGuitarist. Support the show. Merchandise is available in our Threadless store at practicalguitaristpodcast.threadless.com. And donate to us via Patreon, available at patreon.com/practicalguitarist. Reach out to us directly via email at questions@practicalguitarist.com.
Hi, David.
This is an impromptu episode, right?
It is. It's very impromptu.
So we're testing
our. You just come in and test.
Yeah, we're testing our new recording software. So we're going to give you a little half-hour mini-sode tonight. When this airs, we will have either been or are still at
Gearfest.
Fort Wayne, Indiana Gearfest.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed our guest.
Yeah, because the guest will have come on tomorrow.
Yeah,
which will be today. Or something, I don't know. It'll be previous to what we're doing right now.
I feel like I just climbed into a DeLorean.
We're running through time.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're testing a new recording software tonight. So we're going to see how this works. Post your comments in the show notes, but it's going to be a short episode because there's going to be 2 this week.
Yes.
So that's kind of the goal here. So what's new, Jim? What did you do?
Okay,
I know what you did.
Yeah, I know what you did last summer.
Yeah.
I know what I did this summer.
Is that summer
level. Yet? So yeah, my kid sent me money so I could pick this up for him. It's the Monster limited edition. I don't know what model. The POS model. Schecter, which weighs nothing. I think it's made of balsa wood and paper
by
clips.
Monster, he means the energy drink.
Yeah, the energy drink. So it's bright green and black with it does have like I'm not going to say baked maple neck, but that kind of look, which I think means it's probably been baked all right.
It's been feces smeared.
It's
now with more fecal material.
More fecal matter. The pickups sound like you're playing it underwater, but this is my new mule till the end of the year.
Oh,
that's my new mule.
That double humbucker Telecaster.
Yep.
All right. So we gotta talk about this, Jim. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how practical is this guitar?
Right now, super impractical. It was cheap.
Is it bound?
It's bound. As you can tell, it's bound to be crappy.
Yeah, it sure is.
The pickups literally. So when I got it, I got to laugh because my son he just wanted it for the look, right? So he's like, whatever. So he wants me to buy that gun guitar too, by the way.
Oh,
so let's go pick that up.
Wait, no. Which is this of your children? Is this the one that lives with you?
No, the one that lives in New York.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, so he's just gonna hang them up. They're just for looks. So this thing, I picked it up, I plugged it in, I was like, it kind of sounds like crap. Maybe it'll sound better at home. No, it sounded worse. Or just as bad. I think worse because I had the expectation that it would be better. I got it in the house, I plugged it in, and there was no treble at all. Literally, it was like who's that Megan Trainor? It was a Megan Trainor guitar. It was all about that bass. But I'll tell you the bass, it was like, I hit a bass and I was like, whoa. I said,
Could this be the Megan Trainor signature model?
Yep, it was. I took off the Megan Trainor signature strings. And I think the strings came with extra fecal matter too.
Oh, I'm sure they did. They
And
were
so-
probably rusty.
After I clipped them off, because I think they were the originals. I think these were giveaways. They had to be giveaways of some kind. Because you only see a few of them, and there's really no real value for them. I don't think Schecter ever sold them. So anyway, I don't think. I think they were monster giveaways, some thing that they had.
They
But-
had to be. Because they couldn't sell those. There's no way.
Those had to be the original strings. They wouldn't hold tune no matter what I did. So I clipped them off.
How bad are the tuners?
The tuners were okay. They weren't as bad as I expected. And it does have, you can't see it because of the dinky little thumbnail, but it has 2 string trays that keep it pretty stable. Once I got the new strings on, so Guitar Center was like, okay, these will look cool. My friend, his manager there, and he's like, here, take these for free. And he gave me a set of DR phosphorus or whatever, those green strings, the nylon strings. Or not nylon, I'm sorry, phosphorescent strings. So, yeah, they look terrible. But
Yeah,
they
the
are
fluorescent
bright
green.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fluorescent green. So what my son wants me to do is take a fluorescent green Sharpie pen and get as many guitar players as possible to sign this thing at Gearfest. So that's what's going to happen. I'm going to get everybody to sign it. First, everybody in the room is going to sign it. And we're going to take it around.
You should get what you should do, Jim. You should get like random nobodies to sign it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Not
Anyone.
like Pete Thorns, but like
No, but
just
like
random guy A. Like,
Bob Phillips and
yeah.
Phil McCracken.
Oh, we should go around and do that because that fits this guitar like perfectly.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, and when people come up to us and they're like, "What are you doing?" Be like, "Sign our crappy guitar."
Yep, sign our crappy guitar, and I'll have the thing, and people can sign it all over the place, and it's just for the look. I mean, that's what it is. It's not. I mean, I'm going to put decent pickups in it. We'll do it. It's going to be the pickup mule for the rest of the year for the humbuckers, but I figured it'd be fun.
That's a really cool idea, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm all down. I'll help you with it.
Yeah, for once,
So-
it's just that. It's just fun guitar. It's like the other one. I got the other Telecaster over here that I'm bringing with me as well. It's just for fun, and when I get done with it, it's going to get the treatment from Nick. Nick's going to put the pickups in there. Then we're going to all play it. All of us do all of our rigs. That's going to be the demo of it, and then whoever wins these pickups wins the demo pickups from the Gearfest together.
I'm crying right now because we're gonna have to play that thing.
Yeah. What?
Oh.
The one over here is us. I'm not talking about this one. Talking about that.
wait.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you get to play. You get to play this.
I don't want to.
I will make sure you pay.
Jim, I'm reminded of a Frank Zappa song. It's called "The Torture Never Stops."
But no, I mean, if you pick it up and play it, I mean, other than the fact that right now the tone is total ass, I don't think it'll be as bad as you think of all that. Or is all that.
I hope not.
Now, Nick Bongers has said, by the way, everybody that's listening, if you are interested in pickups, he will wind them and have them at Gearfest so that
Yeah,
We can-
if you're going to pick him up, you're going to be there to pick him up. I don't think he's going to go out of his way.
no, but he'll ship them afterwards.
But Jim, this is post Gearfest.
Yeah, oh shoot! All right, so everybody will have already seen the video from this stuff. They'll see us walking because I want somebody.
Oh
walking
no,
around
I'm not
with
going
me
to post
while
all the videos day one. The videos are going to come out over the next week or so. But
Oh, good. This,
yeah,
I want people to see the one that's got me getting people to sign, that crappy guitar right there.
yeah.
Will you sign this guitar? I'm nobody. I know.
All
we
right.
can just sit at the end of the slide, and get everybody. I do want to get Greg Koch and somebody like that.
So before we, because this is kind of a pre Gearfest episode,
Yep.
which is going to air after Gearfest. Maybe I will drop this thing before we get there.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll drop it the day before. How about that? And then, so on Thursday, everybody can have a little short episode to tide them over when they're driving down or whatever.
Well, I'm driving over.
Yeah. So here's a thought, right? Like, I want to kind of talk about some of the things that I'm doing, in terms of like how I'm saving money at Gearfest. Because Jim, you're seeing like the expert level, like
Yes.
Couponing going on here.
You are. There's going to be an episode on the Discovery Channel or the Learning Channel or whatever of coupon masters with Dave. David
Just
is
going to Gearfest.
David going to Gearfest using coupons to save hundreds of dollars instead of switching to Geico for insurance.
So I know walking in, I sold my Helix. Everybody knows that, right? Like nobody knows what I'm getting, and I'm not going to tell you. But some people probably do, to be honest. But
I know.
Please don't spoil it for everyone else, because it's going to be really funny, and I'm sure everybody's going to have like a panic attack. But
yeah,
they're probably not going to care at all, which is fine by me, actually.
Yeah. But I get to be there. I get to be there at the birth, at the birth of it.
Yeah, and then make fun of me when I sell it.
Yeah, don't you dare.
I'm trying not to. Because, I really won't. I have to hang on to this for like a long period of time. I have to be practical for a change.
Because I'm doing it next year.
And you know why.
I do.
Anyway, long story short, I'm going to Gearfest. I'm going to have a lot of money to spend. And I mean, we're talking more money than I've ever spent on gear in one day ever. It's going to be amazing. But here's the thing, like I found certain ways to actually capture discounts before I get there. So I have a spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet on my computer right now that has this is
I've seen it, folks.
This episode should show up the day after the 19th. So this promotion is already ended, but I want to make it very clear. This is how crafty I got, right? So like Gearfest happens on the 21st. On the 19th, actually from, like 2 weeks ago to the 19th, they're selling gift cards at 10% extra. Okay. So what I did was I took and I said, I have to put this much on 3 easy payments just so I don't drain my account. Like I don't want to do that. And then I'll take the gift card and then I'll put as much money as that gift card as I can get to keep my head above water. So I ended up buying a $650 gift card.
You can hear Maddie or
my wife's in the background. She's like, I think she was talking to the cats actually, but
no, I was talking to you.
She was talking to me. Thank you, wife.
Thank you, sweetheart.
I appreciate you very much. I hope you enjoyed dinner as I cooked it. Anyway,
I hope you enjoy your Father's Day gift card that I bought you.
You bought me a gift card?
Yeah, the one that you're going to use.
No, wait, that's right. She did buy me the gift card because I created the account with her name on it, her email address, and all of that. I logged in, I bought the card, but it's all under her name, right? So they got sent to me, which is all fine and good. That's partially so if I go to Gearfest and somebody tries to pull shenanigans on me, I could say, my wife bought me this gift card. You're telling me I can't use it? Now, I have already gotten confirmation from people who work there in writing that it will be fine if I use it.
Yes.
So it's not going to be a problem. But what I did discover is you can't use a gift card against a purchase you're going to take on 3 easy payments, which means I separated out my purchase and said, I'm going to buy all this stuff in cash on premises. And then this other thing, the big stuff will go on 3 easy payments. And so doing that, I actually have managed to keep more money in my pocket than I thought I was going to. And I'm fairly impressed with my ingenuity on this, but I have no idea what things are going to cost there because every year it's different. I've heard discounts are going to be just as deep as they were last year, if not deeper. Certain things are going to be more discounted than others. I am waiting to see if Mesa is getting discounts. That could be a really interesting thing. Mesa does not do dealer discounts for anybody. So if they do it at Gearfest, that would be a shock to me. But being that Randall Smith is going to be there, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't get special permission.
Yeah.
So if anybody's looking to get a Mesa Boogie, you might want to go to Gearfest. if you're within a day's drive, since
Well,
this
it has to
episode
be
will be
this year,
dropping the
that
day
much.
before now.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. So I mean, I do I condone everybody doing this? There's a reason I didn't make this public in the group, right? Because like I didn't want everybody to run out and do this. Because if everybody does it, then they're gonna not do it next year, right? And like they will probably put the kibosh on it. But that being said, the other little thing that people were doing last year, if you ran the credit check for a credit card, the Sweetwater card, you got, I believe it was 10 or 20% off your entire purchase. No, it would be, in my case, it would be one purchase, right? So in my case, I would want to apply that to the bigger purchase. And I don't know whether it affects whether you can do 3 Easy Pay or not. However, I've also and that was completely separate from whether or not you actually got the card, right? You let them run your credit and apply for the card, you're going to get the discount regardless of whether you can actually get the card or not.
Right.
Which is pretty crazy if you ask me. And if they do that again this year, crazy. I'm going to be trying to take advantage of that. But, and actually I wouldn't mind. So right now I have a Guitar Center card and, I want to cancel it and I want to switch over to Sweetwater card. Just because I buy more stuff from them. And, I feel really bad because Robert Jackson's in our group. He works for Musician's Friend, right? And I've been talking to him about gear and stuff. And like, I've been wanting to buy something from him. But I'm like, there just hasn't been anything that like I've had the money for that I wasn't planning to get at Gearfest. So I think the next year, like maybe I'll start ordering 7-string strings through him, and stuff like that. Cause that's pretty much all I'm buying for a while. I mean, I know we did Year of No Gear last year and I don't want to jinx myself, but there's not going to be much gear bought in the following year. I mean, I might buy a cabinet. That's it. I mean, nothing else really. And like, even guitar wise, that's all going to be financed with stuff I'm selling right now. So I'm trying to like be really frugal and sensible about all this, which is pretty different for me actually.
So my gear my gear card, my Guitar Center card is pretty much paid off.
Yeah.
I think I got about a month or two left to it, and that's done. And that's because I did that, 0 payments, 24 months things.
Sure. Yeah, everybody does that.
Once that's done, my dog just rolled over and moaned. I don't know if you guys picked that one up. Anyway, so I'm looking at, first of all, when I get back from Gearfest, or Sweetwater, Gearfest, I will have something to block the reverbing sound.
Oh, yeah.
And
everybody knows you're bringing it, Jim. And if I get good audio from this new software we're using, I can reverb kill until you get it. So
good.
It's not great. I mean, it does affect your audio quality, but it's like much better than it would be normally.
Yeah.
So,
and as far as the stuff goes for that, I am going to be doing the same thing next year. I'll be doing a Sweetwater card, and I'll do the whole thing. I just can't do it this year. I have some things, on a personal side that are going to.
I wish I couldn't do it this year.
But I want to do, so I know what David's doing, and I want to do the same thing next year. At least that's the plan, is to come in close, maybe not do the same couponing as he's doing, but pretty, same kinds of deals and the same kinds of stuff.
When you see what the deals are like, you're going to realize that I mean, you don't even have to do this stuff to save like a fistful of cash. It's crazy.
Right. And that's going to be the big thing. So, but I am going to spend pretty much the same money. I'll talk to you offline about what the slight difference will be, but yeah.
Part of what makes Gearfest able to do this is because it's an on-site event. There's no shipping costs.
Right.
Okay, so you get a bunch of guitar players together. They get to be social. They get to view good education, which a lot of it is very educational. You get to see the Sweetwater campus, which is something. I mean, most of our listeners probably don't work at a place like Sweetwater. When you walk in, you realize it's cut from a different cloth. And I think some of it is actually a little bit of recruitment. They're looking for people all the time who can, do the sales thing for them. And they want people who are enthusiastic about gear. So that's what they sell. Open door policy. You come in, you see the workplace, and then maybe you do a little bit of recruitment. And I mean, honestly, like, I've thought about it. I mean, even if I took the big salary cut, because it would be, I mean, you live in a place that's like, it costs me half of what it costs to live here, right? Like, it's really compelling. You walk through there and you're like, man, can I do it? Like, so I just don't know. Like, so my big thing is like, childcare is an issue for me, and like, my mother actually watches my kids quite a bit, and so for me, like, yeah, that would be an increased expense, and so that would be a problem. But I mean, long term, like if I got out of work or something, I'd have to think about it real hard. I mean, because I know I can do it. Like I do a podcast where we talk about gear all the time. Like, it would be easy for me to go to work at a place like that.
Yeah.
And the bad part is, like, if I went to work in a place like that, not that I would be buying everything, because I think I could resist that urge. But I would probably not want to come home.
That's a huge thing.
I would just be like, all right, I'm gonna go stand in the auditorium for a while, like, you know, put an amp on the stage and play for a little bit, like, not tell anybody, it'll be fine. No, but their facility's amazing. Like, when you get there, you'll see. So I got a lot of stuff planned in terms of what we're gonna shoot, and all that. So I think it'll be fun. I hope that this becomes kind of a mecca for the show. Like, because I do intend to go next year, but I don't intend to spend a lot of money. Like, I'll go and we'll do the Airbnb thing again, and we'll have, social thing. And like, maybe I'll get to relax a little bit next year more than I do this year, because we're going to be working. Like, let me make it very clear. Yes, we'll be shaking hands. We'll be having a good time with everybody, but it's work. There's a lot of like discussion with people that you've never met before, and walking around and like literally shooting with a camera and all that kind of stuff. This is not an event that we just go and like slack off on. But Jim and I have already made some discussions about me making beelines for certain things when we get there, because I don't want to screw around and have to wait. Actually, the main thing is I want to buy everything and then put it in my car.
Right. Get it
and
done.
Just not
get
worry,
it in
and
whatever
just not
car
worry
it is
about
we
it.
take. Yep. Get there, get the gear into the car, and then go and enjoy ourselves.
So in the mad rush to get there, this is my something new for the week. I decided I'm going to get insurance on my gear.
Oh.
So I went and this morning I took pictures of everything, and I made a spreadsheet with all the serial numbers. And actually I had one, but I updated it. And then I put all my pedals on a table and took pictures of that, which is behind me. You can't see that, Jim, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting process. I got to go through Clarion. So basically what's going to happen is I took my list and my spreadsheet, my pictures, and I took them to my local store to value the equipment that I have. I will call Monday, and I will get the ball rolling with Clarion and tell them I'm waiting on my valuation to come back. And then I'm told they can same day your insurance. So
I am interested to find out what the cost of your insurance is.
It's usually $10 to $15 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, for like a couple $1,000s worth of gear. I have about $5,000 worth of gear I'm going to list. So I've been told that like it's usually around $20 a month or $10 a month. I mean, and that protects theft if it gets damaged in transit. So like if you take it on a plane, or if and they will actually cover repair or replacement. And if your stuff gets stolen and it gets recovered, you can get it back, which is something that a lot of insurance companies actually won't allow you to do, because they've already paid you out at that point. Like, they won't give you the ability to trade off and get it back, but Clarion will. And Clarion's like a part of a lot of musicians associations and musicians groups. They sell all kinds of insurance, from everybody down to like the guys playing in their basement all the way up to people playing Stradivarius violins and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's where their money's at, is the people that have got classical instruments. When you have $1 million cello, and you're carting that thing around, that insurance payment is probably $5,000 a month.
Yep.
So, case in point, like that's one of those cases where you're probably not paying for your insurance. Somebody else is probably paying it for you. Most of those instruments, those really expensive classical instruments, are actually owned by collectives, or they're owned by insurance or investment firms, and you're being paid to play it. So what ends up happening is like they pay for your insurance and everything. All you are is the caretaker. And oftentimes you're even allowed to make modifications to them, which I knew a guy that was in college. He had a Stradivarius cello. He was he came to our campus to speak, and like I was talking to him and stuff, and he was telling me like it's owned by an investment firm, and they actually own a full set of Stradivarius instruments, I guess. But they're spread all over the world. And he's like, they provide his insurance. They actually provide his case for travel. He does have to go to them to get approval for any work done, but basically it's like a done deal because they know he's a musician. Like he's not going to trash the instrument that he needs. So, yeah. And he told me he actually has had modifications done too. He had a modern bridge installed on it and stuff because apparently all that stuff changes. But anyway, in terms of what we're doing here, like we're staying in an Airbnb. And it's not that I think anybody's going to break in and steal it, but it is a possibility.
Oh,
and because I'm in a strange place and like there's 4 of us with a lot of gear, it's worth it to insure your stuff. I mean, granted, I could foresee, Jim, that we're probably going to have people in and out of the house all day. Cause I have a feeling that, Nick and his brother may not stay all day, and that kind of thing. Like, so it's very possible that it's just not going to be busy, or that there's not going to be anybody there, like, or that there will be somebody there at all times, or, recent enough that they don't want to mess around and like risk getting caught. But I mean, we'll be smart about it. Carry things in, if we can. We'll park the car in the garage so nobody can see what we got and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So yeah, but that's your helpful hint. If you're going to travel, get insurance. And it's not just because it could get stolen, but like damage is a big thing. If somebody hits my car, I mean, I could lose my amps, 2 of my guitars, like could be a nightmare. So I'm going to do my best to like make sure that I'm taken care of as well as my instruments, because I cannot afford to replace the stuff that I have. So.
Oh, I can't either.
Well, I'm told that your homeowners will actually cover some of that stuff even when you're out of the house if you have a rider. But
yep.
I am not willing to deal with the homeowner's insurance company because I've heard horror stories.
Yep.
My 57 Strat was destroyed. Well, you can have an American 57 reissue because that's comparable.
Yeah. No, it's not.
$10,000 guitar compared to a $1,000 reissue.
Yep. Somehow it doesn't work out that way for you. But according to them, it does.
So I was back at Guitar Center today. And
this sounds like a joke setup. So I was back at Guitar Center today.
It kind of is, right? So I didn't bring a guitar. Usually I bring a guitar to like check stuff out with. I was looking at amps and stuff. And I didn't bring a guitar, so I grabbed one of the American, I guess it was American Classic or whatever, Stratocaster. I'm thinking, oh, this will be all right. The stock setup on that guitar was so bad that it was fretting out like pretty much everywhere. And I have no idea why they think they can hang a guitar like that on the wall and get it to sell.
Which telly was that?
It was a Stratocaster.
Oh, I mean Strat, yeah.
I think it was an American Classic or something like that.
Jiminy Christmas.
It was an $850 guitar.
That kills me. I get it when you hang up a $200 guitar. You got to think about how much am I making on this guitar? How much is it worth to do that? Although I'll be honest with you, I would want everything set up. But if you're going to put up an $850 guitar, you gosh darn better make sure that you're putting it up there with some kind of setup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if the action's a little bit off, but like the truss rod needs to be adjusted, right?
Yeah.
If the truss rod's not adjusted, you're never going to sell that guitar because nobody, like the vast majority of people who shop at Guitar Center don't know about setups.
Right.
I'm gonna come out and say it right now. The vast majority of people who shop at Guitar Center are generally people that are not super knowledgeable about guitar.
Absolutely.
And that now it's probably, I say the vast majority, but that I would say probably 50%, right? And then 25% is like somewhat knowledgeable about guitar, and then the other 25% is really knowledgeable about guitar. And so of that 50%, like if you pick up that guitar off the rack, you're not going to buy it because you're going to go, "What's wrong with it? I'm not sure what's wrong with it, and I don't know what it's going to cost to fix it." And I don't really, I mean, like Guitar Center could offer a free setup, but like even then, you're like, you have to be sitting there going, "What's it going to play like after it's set up?" I mean,
Exactly.
you don't know. It's a crapshoot. Even me, like I know what it's going to play like after it's set up. I mean, it's a Strat, right? Like even if so, I look at it this way. You pick up a guitar with bad action, the worst you're going to pay is like $60 because you're going to pay $50 to set it up and 10 or $15 for a new nut. I mean, that's the worst case. Because the bridge and the saddles will be fine on a new guitar. It in the neck, like you're just gonna have to have the truss rod adjusted. I would like to think that most new guitars that are coming offline don't have humps or anything like that in the neck, but it happens. So you could still be getting into a situation there. However, you should be able to see that if you look closely. But man, I get frustrated when I go in there because almost everything they have is set up like that. If it isn't in the platinum room, it's set up that way. And I don't understand how they can sell like that. And they must be.
That just seems like a lot of mismanagement at your Guitar Center. And how they're getting away with it, I don't know. The problem is, I think there's certain guys that are like really cool. I think there are other people that work there that are just absolute tools. Yeah, but the management of it, it should be, hey, we've got guitars on the wall that don't sound good.
I couldn't even tell you who the manager is right now.
I can tell you this. Every Guitar Center's got an asshole like me who goes in and plays just about every guitar in the place, right? And says, hey, this is mismarked. This has got a problem. This has got a scratch. This has got a ding. This string is out of place. This is this. This is this. And that guy, that person, that me that walks in there is the one that doesn't mind going up to the manager because I know, and I'm sure that other person knows, hey, I'm doing this for your good, not mine. My benefit. It's not my benefit. I'm just helping you out because I'm helping you sell your guitars. You know what I mean?
I'm looking up. I want to see who our store manager is.
I mean,
if it's the guy I think it is, then yeah.
If you walk into a store, a guitar store, there's always that one person that goes, hey man, this guitar is the guitar you're looking for. Hey, what kind of thing are you looking for? You know, it's the helpful person that doesn't work there.
Yeah.
Now, there's always the helpful person that doesn't work there that also is a real jerk, and you don't want him to talk to you or her to talk to you. But then there's that person that does things and is helpful.
I wish they would put a picture of their manager on their website for each location.
They should.
They should, but that's because their management changes so frequently in some places that they don't.
Mine has had the same manager for a long time.
I think our regional manager is part of the problem because almost, in fact, I've been to like 5 of the 6 or 7 Chicago area locations, and they're all bad.
You know what I think it is? Virginia Beach is the only one for 80 miles. You got to go all the way to Richmond, or you got to go all the way to DC, or you got to go all the way to Raleigh, Durham. Is the other close one. So if you've got over 2 hours to every single Guitar Center, I think Richmond is just about 2 hours away.
They got the pick of the litter for employees at that point,
right? And because of that, you have a manager that is always at your store, and it is an ownership thing because we have one guy and 2 gals that manage the place.
Oh, we have a manager at the Arlington Heights location.
Oh, I'm not talking about the people that you see all the time on the floor. I'm not talking about the managers you see all the time. I'm talking about the one you never see that has an office.
The regional manager.
Right.
Whatever,
It's up in the back. Isn't there every day. I'm talking about that. But inside the store, also we have that feeling of ownership and the management of all those things. And even though there's just not a lot. I mean, we probably got maybe 200 guitars in there. It's not a lot of guitars.
Yeah, we have probably 300, but that doesn't include the acoustics, I guess. But
I'm not including the acoustics.
The acoustic room is slim pickings. I mean, it's all beginner level guitars, maybe a couple of high end Martins and a couple of high end Taylors.
No, we've got. That's one thing I can say. They've got a wall that is the low end, probably 60 or 70 guitars. It's the low end stuff. Then over here, you've got your mid range stuff, but they've got a wall that's just as big with just as many. Not including the that room where you go where the really expensive stuff.
The platinum room.
The platinum.
And the platinum room at our location. Our platinum room at our location has about 15 guitars.
Yeah.
No, if so, 15 in the case, probably 6 or 8 on the wall, on one wall, and then 8 on the other. So 16 plus like 20 or so. So, and that's 36. And you know what? Those guitars don't move. They don't. I've seen the same ones in the platinum room every time I've been there for the last 3 months. Which is really kind of funny because it's like if they don't move, then where's all the money going that these people are buying these like custom shop, relic guitars and stuff? I just don't think it's as lucrative as people think it is. Yeah.
I don't know. Ours move. You know what guitars don't move at our Guitar Center?
What?
High-end Fenders.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The top shelf Fenders. I'm not talking about the really expensive ones. I'm not talking about the custom shop. I'm talking about that Fender Elite and the Elite models and those sit. I've been looking at the same Elites for months. The Les Pauls move faster than the Fender Elites, which is weird.
I can tell you why.
Why?
Because most of the people who buy most of the people I know who buy Fenders don't care about anything except for what is quote unquote the standard, which is not a standard anymore.
Right.
But the whole point is that's the guitar they want. The stuff that's above that, they're not interested in it. Like if you're going to go buy a new one, you're just going to buy the standard. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then everything beyond that is like gravy, icing on the cake, blowout fodder.
Yeah.
For big sales and stuff like that. And chime in if in the group if you think that's like a misrepresentation or anything, but like that's my impression from buying guitars for the last 20 years or so, that's what people do. They just don't care about anything beyond what the basic level, because let's face it, why is the Strat popular? Why is the Telecaster popular? Because you can mod the living crap out of them.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. It's really something that's relatively simple. A Telecaster is a bread or a meat board.
It's a cutting board.
Yeah, with strings on it.
If you want to play Legos with guitars, buy a Fender.
Even Brad Paisley said that. It's not spectacular. There's nothing spectacular about it. And the thing about a Strat is it's a fancy cutting board with strings on it.
Yeah.
It's got a belly cut for the fat meat. But, like I was talking about, though, with the Les Pauls, I've seen some really, really, really high-end stuff walk out there. I've seen, now, they can't keep the S2s. They can't keep the Miras in stock. The Paul Reed Smiths.
We don't even order them. They have like 5 Paul Reed Smiths that aren't core models.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. They got 6 core models in the back. There's the same 6 core models that have been sitting there for 4 months.
Ridiculous.
And I'm like, what is going on here? There's no love for PRS at that location.
Yeah, other than the $4,000 one that's been hanging there for a while.
Yeah,
PRSs have moved. Matter of fact, they just got a brand new blue S2 24 in there. That'll be gone by the end of the week. Oh, and I got a semi-hollow CE 24.
Well, truthfully, if I was a manager, I'll tell you what I do. I would get high-end PRSs. I would look for S2s like a lot of that stuff. And then I would stop trying to compete with Chicago Music Exchange with custom shop guitars.
Yep.
And just chalk it up to like you can't compete with them. If
Right.
you've ever been to Chicago Music Exchange, if you've never been there, you should go if you're ever in town. If you have been there, you've never seen this vintage guitars in one place. Vintage custom shop, like craziness. It's just insane.
Next year I'll have to drive out, come up to your place first, and then go down. Or maybe fly out. Fly out and ride with you.
I have been to guitar shows where they don't have as many vintage guitars as Chicago Music Exchange.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy. And that's why I'm like, why is Guitar Center trying to sell custom shop stuff here? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, literally from where I was standing today at Arlington Heights Guitar Center, Chicago Music Exchange is 45 minutes towards the city. It's actually in the city, but the point is that, like, I can get in the car, I can drive 45 minutes, and I can get the real thing.
Yep.
Why would I want to go to Guitar Center? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think that's where, so the guitar centers that do move that kind of stuff are the LA Guitar Center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. New York City.
Yeah.
The one that's in the city, Manhattan. I think it's in Manhattan now still. Because Sammy Ash moved out of Manhattan. I think he went to Brooklyn.
Something like that.
Because he used to be where Rudy's was. And
he occupied Manny's for a while too.
Or not Rudy. Was it Rudy's?
Manny's.
Manny's. He was where. Yeah. But Sammy Ash moved out of there. And Sam Ash has moved to where they're like, yeah, look at our great Michael Kelly's. They're just
Sam Ash made some tragic mistakes in the late 90s, early 2000s that have led to this.
Yeah.
They expanded. Let's talk about that for a minute, because that's a good thing to talk about. Yeah. They expanded too fast. They were trying to be Guitar Center and McDonald's. Look where they got Guitar Center, right? Like, that's what got them into all their financial trouble.
Yep.
They expanded too fast. Then they started to try and hawk house brands. Okay. So I've heard a couple of stories about this that maybe not all our listeners are up on, and maybe some of these are true, maybe some of these aren't. Again, if you know them not to be, bring them up in the group. But Michael Kelly is a good example. But other brands, like Brownsville was a Sam Ash house brand, they were selling more house brand stuff in their stores than they were selling regular product for a while. And that was their inventory process. It's like they would bring all these house brands in, and they would push the house brands. And then, like, oh, you want a Fender? Yeah, well, we have that too, kind of deal. And I bought a Brownsville amp. I think it was my first practice amp I ever bought. It was like a Brownsville 5 or 10 watt solid state combo. It's an 8-inch speaker, a 6-inch speaker. I mean, it was awful. I wound up, I think I smashed it or something. I don't remember. But it went many years ago. And so the point being, like, they made some really awful guitars, and they were pushing them on people. So for those of you who don't know, the reason why Guitar Center is called Guitar Center and not like Pro Audio Warehouse or something like that is because in the 70s, when they started, they were Organ Center. Okay. And when organs and synthesizers fell out of favor, and they realized they could make a lot more money selling guitar equipment as their primary, they switched the name. Okay. That's because guitarists, unfortunately, you're not special. There's a lot of you. And everybody thinks they can play guitar, and everybody buys a lot of guitar equipment. Right.
Yep.
So they switched over. Sam Ash, again, same deal there. They didn't have to switch the name or the branding, but they were selling these awful guitars, and nobody was buying them. I can remember going in there and seeing like 100, or what would have been like a $250 guitar, a Brownsville, right? That they were blowing out for like $50 or $75 because they just could not get rid of them, and they were still buying inventory. Like, they'd sell them like that, and then you'd go in the next day, and there'd be more, and you'd be like, "What? How?
Why?" Would be my question. Not how. Why?
Sam Ash corporate, because it was the corporate was running a lot of their inventory services. That's what I've heard, And so when they saw they were low on stock, you get two types of stock orders. You can order yourself, right? So you have like a spreadsheet that you fill out, and then they bring things out. Or in most cases, what was happening there was that Sam Ash was saying, "You're low on this. We're sending this out to you." So what ended up happening is because they expanded and they were increasing all these guitar orders and buying all these Brownsville garbage things, which that's another component too. Like 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, you wouldn't have known who the house brand was, right?
Yep.
Because you didn't have the ability to like get on the internet and Google it. It was readily apparent by the time they were still doing this that was their house brand and nobody was going to buy it. And it got even worse. So Zoom, right? That company, they were an investment partner in Zoom. And so when Zoom, when the 505 and stuff came out, and those were big pedals and people were buying them and like as awful as they were or whatever, and their business dropped off, right? Because nobody's buying them for like guitar effects anymore. Virtually no one. I mean,
Right.
you would find way more Digitech than you would Zoom in use today. Another brand that was a house brand, Samson. I don't know if anybody picked up on this.
Yeah, Samson.
Samson.
Yep.
Sam. Yeah. So that's a whole thing. I don't know whether they were sole ownership because I know Samson gets sold other places now. So I think like that's one of those things where it was like an investment partner deal with like the Zoom thing was. But when they realized, I guess in the mid 2000s, they couldn't keep head above water. They shut like half their stores. They closed all but 1 or 2 in the Chicago area, and they had like 8. So, I mean, that was a real hard thing, I think, for them to admit was that they couldn't do it. But you know what, Jim? There's one more thing that put the nail in the coffin.
What's that?
And you could probably guess, but this is probably the biggest of all the reasons why they went under. They refused to sell on the internet in the early days.
Oh, I remember that. That's right. They refused to make internet sales.
Yeah, it did
In the mid 90s or late 90s, early 90s.
They didn't turn up internet sales until like 2001.
Yep.
And at that point, Guitar Center had 2 companies that was selling stuff online. So for those of you who don't know, Musician Friends and Guitar Center are the same company. Right. And I think they own Music 123 and American Music Supply as well.
Right.
So that's 4 companies, right, that are all under the Guitar Center banner. And so Guitar Center didn't sell online at the beginning either, but that was because Guitar Center had some brands that would not allow them to sell online. So that was your Mesa Boogies, right?
Yep.
And so they eventually were selling Mesa Boogie online. I think Mesa finally had to come around and say, you know what, we can't force people to be mom and pops if we want to continue to do business. But and they still do it today. Like you can go to Sweetwater and you can buy a Mesa Boogie, or you can go to Humbucker Music and buy a Mesa Boogie, or you can go to there's like different retailers. But so Sam Ash never got any exclusive deals like that, and they weren't really trucking around trying to get them. Like I can't imagine Sam Ash ever having Mesa Boogie in their store ever. Like that would just not happen. And there are other companies like that too. Now when I go into Sam Ash, so I got a local one, right? It's one of the few that's still around. There's 2. There's one in Lombard and there's one in Buffalo Grove. I go to the Lombard location. I go into that place and they literally have maybe 20 to 30 guitars. I mean, it's not actually it's probably more. It's probably more like 60, but there's like 20 or 30 that are worth looking at. And then the rest are like, why do you even have this? And amplifiers, I mean, you'd be lucky to find something with tubes in it. I mean, they sell all of the digital Marshalls, all of the Katana stuff. Like they sell the Black Star, the ID cores, all those. They might have 1 deluxe reverb or 2 deluxe reverbs, maybe a Fender Twin, a Hot Rod Deluxe.
Yep.
No Marshall tube amps, nothing with anything bigger than a 212. Yep. And even the 212s are like, where's that at? You're like looking around. They have like 1 212 cabinet, right? Wow. They might have they might have a couple of oranges. and that's it. I mean, it is slim pickings. And they have their pedal cabinets full, though. Can you guess why?
Because it's full of junk pedals.
No, the pedals are great. They actually, in fact, they have one of the better pedal selections in my area. And that's because pedals move.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're willing to buy whatever pedal because they know they can move it. But everything else, I mean, I honestly, like, I don't know how they're still in business. I can't even recall going in there and seeing people buy anything. I mean, it's kind of like being in a mortuary.
It's sad.
It is, because like when I was a kid, that was the place to go. I mean, we all went there to buy stuff. That's why I know all about the Brownsville thing.
Music and Arts.
I was in there all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Music and Arts. That's the other music guitar store that Guitar Center has. Yeah, it's hard to imagine. Everybody wants to remember the day. Oh, I remember when my local mom and pop, and it was so great. I'll tell you something. Guitars didn't cost that much before. Margins are thinner than ever. And mom and
buying
pops,
online.
Yeah. And buying online. That is what killed, I remember that. That is what killed Sam Ash. They refused to sell online. And then there were companies that they worked with that wouldn't let them sell online.
Well, that's the same thing happened with Guitar Center. That's where they had musicians rent. But they were smart enough to set up a front, you know?
Yep. Rickenbacker was one of those ones that you could not publish their price.
Yeah, I remember when our store had Rickenbackers. They actually had Rickenbacker guitars on the wall. I remember they had a whole wall.
Yep.
Of 8 or 9 of them. And it was like, oh, all right. Now, So I guess they do have more. So here's the thing. They don't have a platinum room at Sam Ash, right? They have a sales counter where all the pedals are at, and then behind them they have all these high-end Gibsons on the wall. They're not really high-end. Like anything over $1,000 considered high-end for them. And honestly, I'm gonna be completely frank, right? There's a risk-reward proposition here. If you want to sell guitars, people actually have to be able to touch them. And if it's high-end, the platinum room, you know why that platinum room at Guitar Center sits and collects dust? No one touches them. If you can get somebody to touch a guitar, you can get somebody to take out a credit card loan, get a line of credit and buy one. But you cannot get somebody to buy something they cannot touch, and they're not going to hunt you down to open the cases.
That's correct.
So I think they're shooting themselves in their foot on that stuff. Yeah,
I totally believe you.
We had a conversation at Good Time about conservation. We talked about this on the show before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like how I really wish there were more manufacturers. I wish there were fewer manufacturers making super low end instruments. I wish there were more or less manufacturers making super high end instruments. I wish everybody was in the sweet spot of trying to put together a really quality guitar between $500 and $2,000. And I know that there are people out there to be like, well, what about the, Les Paul or whatever that's, X amount of dollars. Look, I get it. Those guitars need to exist too, but we shouldn't be making more of those than we are making, say, guitars that people will actually use. Because, all right, so Jeff Biesiadecki brought this up, and I want to make the same point he did because it really resonated with me. But he said Harley Benton. He said so many Harley Benton guitars are going to wind up in landfills, and he wasn't saying it because they're bad. He's saying it because the implied value on those instruments is zero. You buy a Harley Benton, you're not going to be able to resell it for anything other than peanuts. So chances are it's going to collect dust in your house when you no longer use it. And then someday, 10, 15 years on down the road, you're going to throw it in the garbage because it will behoove you to do that rather than to actually sell it. And he's absolutely right. They have created a unsustainable product in the sense that nobody's going to reuse that wood. And the guitar's not going to, for one thing, the guitar is not going to outlast the hardware. Because I know that we have show listeners that will upgrade components on a $100 guitar to make it last longer or whatever. But truth is, most of us are not going to do that, right? Yep. So when I look at my one of my guitars, like the first thing I do before I do a mod now is like, is it worth it? I mean, does it even make sense? Because like throwing $350 worth of pickups into a $200 guitar is kind of silly.
Yep.
Like you're turd polishing, and then not from the sense that you're going to make the guitar better. Like obviously you're going to make the guitar better, but the question is, will you ever see that money again? And would that $350 be better served going into something else that's more worthwhile? Make sense?
Yep. It does.
So I see this Harley Benton stuff. I see, and everybody's got a house brand. You know, Guitar Center does the same thing, but they don't push their house brands as hard. Laguna,
Laguna and Mitchell.
Well, they use so Schecter was a house brand for them in the very, very beginning of like Schecter Guitar Research coming to fruition, like when they were doing the Tree of Life inlays, all that stuff. Yeah, they were a house brand. Or they were like part invested by Guitar Center. Like there were a couple of brands that Guitar Center was backing financially. That was like, you don't have the money to do this, but we want you in our store and we'll pay you. So you're going to make some designs for us that are specifically for us.
I believe
that kind of shenanigans. Well, yeah, I mean that's part of what drove them over the top was that you could only get these exclusive guitars there, and these exclusive guitars were the ones that people wanted. And Guitar Center was developing the ideas for them through market research and looking at what people were buying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who better to know what actually sells than the nation's biggest guitar chain, right?
Yeah, of course.
So I because they don't push their house brands, I can't actually imagine they're making any money at Mitchell or Laguna. I look for them to die, to be honest with you. Like they're the guitars that they sell to people who don't know any better.
All right.
And these days, knowledge is everywhere.
But I'm going to say this: there's still grandmas, grandpas, mothers, fathers, cousins, sisters, brothers who go in. They don't know. They're buying a gift guitar. They go into Guitar Center. They buy it. It's super cheap, and they're buying it because there's always that attitude. Well, I don't know if they're actually going to start playing. So it sits in a corner for, 10 years.
And then it ends up in a landfill.
The only thing I have a problem with Harley Benton isn't, I'd love to try a Harley Benton.
Order one.
I don't want to pay the shipping.
Oh, the shipping is like non-consequential when you factor in that you're getting a $99 guitar.
That's just it though.
You would be hard pressed to find a guitar. So this is my impression of Harley Benton, right? You'd be hard pressed to find a guitar in the States for that amount of money that plays that good with the shipping included. Because the shipping's $40. You can order 10 Harley Bentons and the shipping is $40. It's just the way it is, right? So, like when you think about that, that's what most people are doing. Like when they have like 10 Harley Bentons, it's because they've ordered like 5 at once.
Right.
Paid $40 shipping. But here's the thing, like you order a Harley Benton, right? It's like $100 or $200 guitar. You pay $40 shipping. You still would struggle to find an American or not American, but an American sold brand for that amount of money. Like for $240. It's just like you're gonna buy a Squire Bullet? I mean, even though I'm shocked that the Bullet is still $99. I mean that's really surprising to me, which makes me wonder what they're making it out of.
Which one?
Cardboard.
The Bullet?
Squire Bullet. Yeah, it's still $99, isn't it?
No. I think there is a Bullet that is $99 in a package deal, but I think most of your Bullets have broken 100 now.
Yeah, they're 150. I'm looking. So think about that. So to get a Square Bullet, and we know a Square Bullet, like we know what that plays like, right? You have to pay $150. That's craziness. That's craziness. Because now maybe they changed the Bullet, but like every Bullet I played, I mean, I would rather row a boat with it. Like, they're just bad. And anybody who tells you, "Oh, I'm going to upgrade this Bullet and make it play really good," like, yeah, to an extent, you could probably get something better than what you have by putting new pickups in it. But like, you can't fix the fact that the wood is just garbage. You can't fix the fact that, the electronics in it, other than, being able to replace them, started out as garbage. You can't fix the tuners without replacing them. I mean, it's just, you're turd polishing. You're never going to get more than $150 for that guitar, ever.
I think for Harley Benton, my problem is I'm still not convinced that they're the cost doesn't make sense.
I'll tell you what. I'd like to put this out there. If somebody's going to be a generous benefactor for the show or like whatever, we'll order a Harley Benton, right? But we gotta get like a 50% price match or something. And I don't care what Harley Benton it is. If you guys want to see us do this, like talk about it in the Facebook group. If you'll put up half the money, if you guys can raise half the money, we'll get the other half together and we will order a Harley Benton. And we will tell you the real deal on whether they're worth buying or not. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm walking in with a bias that they're not worth buying.
Yeah.
I know that other guitar podcasts, kind of latched on like Harley Benton's great. I don't think that's actually true. Okay. Honest assessment.
Yep.
They might be, they're probably on par with like the $200 Squires from like 5-10 years ago, which is okay. You can upgrade parts on it, but you're still not getting what you think you're getting. I've seen some of the quilt tops on they have a modern that they make, like a modern guitar they make with a humbucker single, the Fusion. Right? I think it's got a Floyd on it it does have a baked maple neck. It might even have a baked maple neck. But I know it has stainless steel frets, and it's supposed to be a well-equipped guitar, but I can tell you right now that the hardware on it's probably garbage, and the electronics in it are probably hot garbage too. You can't make. I don't care where you go in the world. We've already bought a Chinese guitar and talked about this.
That's what I said. And you bought it directly.
You can't buy a guitar for $250 and expect it. I don't care where you get it from in the world. Expect it to be as good as a $500 to $1,000 guitar, which is what I would consider mass market, mid market, right?
Right.
What are you doing, Jim? Are you going to 7-Eleven to get some ice?
No, that was water. It was Aquafina. When you buy like 36 packs of Aquafina, this is what the plastic, the plastic just crumbles in your hand. Literally, all software. I did was pour it. I didn't even pull it out of the thing. I just poured it into my mouth, and the light touch of your hand just crushed it. It's incredible. All right, so here's what I'm going to look at. I'm looking at a Harley Benton SC 450 P90 GT Classic. All right.
Let me see what this is. SC 490.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Go on.
So it's a Les Paul Gold Top.
Okay. You're looking at the gold top. They have a black one too.
Yeah. So,
that cutaway is gross.
Yep. But what are you gonna do? I am going to order one.
$33 shipping.
$33.80 shipping. Yep. The price in USDA is a guideline price only, so it may not be $141. I'm going to order it before. I will order it when I get back from Sweetwater. I'll put it on order. God help me. Because
put your money where your mouth is, Jim.
If this thing sucks, I'm coming after those podcasts and those YouTube channels and tell me how freaking great these things are.
I don't think it's going to be as bad as
It'll be like. Let's see, Pete Thorne.
It's not going to be good.
It's going to be Ryan Burke. It's going to be.
So I've never seen Pete Thorne do anything.
They all went to Tolman.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're backing Harley Benton. Like
that's true.
The one I'm going to be completely honest, and I like Ryan. So this is not trying to be like making a personal attack on him or anything. But I'm sorry, I don't agree that a Harley Benton is gonna replace anything like Squire Vintage Modern or Fender Player Series or anything like that.
Well, I have to give this to Ryan. okay, because you know I love Ryan. I have to give this to him. He knows Squire Fender Vintage Series better than either of us.
Yeah.
That guy knows the Vintage Modern Series, and he has sat down at Tolman just last week, actually this week that we're recording. And he was right there playing these guitars. That's why I'm putting this, and I'm not making this like I'm threatening Ryan. Don't anybody think that. I'm just saying, if this is crap, I want Ryan to know I bought this because I was going on what Ryan said would be a good guitar.
Oh, my whole thing is it's a friendly, like, I'll just tease him about it.
Exactly.
And be like, Harley Benton, man. Wink, wink. Like,
wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I hope your Wiener Schnitzel was good.
I'm not saying that people won't, because I know there are listeners to the show who like know people who have Harley Bentons.
Yeah.
I know one in particular.
I don't know anybody that owns a Harley Benton.
Well, you will
known anyone personally.
You'll know Dan Kish. He bought a Harley Benton. He doesn't have a whole lot of good things to say about Tolman because of the way that they handle their shipping, but because he had to wait. Like he bought his gift and it didn't arrive in time. Right? Yeah, it takes about 6 weeks to a month to 6 weeks. He goes through customs. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. And there's nothing they can do about it.
Right. That's not Tolman's fault. I mean, Now granted, they didn't do a very good job of communicating with him. This is the whole thing. Like you can talk to him at Gearfest about it. What I want to point out though with these instruments and all of this stuff is that you get what you pay for. And like, unless you're going to buy this as a modification platform, and even then, this is why I'm like not on the modification train for stuff like this. Look, you can modify it, you can make it sound good, right? Like you can do things to it to make it sound better. However, you're not going to change the fact that it's built out of driftwood, Chinese species of whatever is in it, usually, right? And that's the bottom line. Like, if you're okay with thinking that, tone wood doesn't matter and all of that, like, more power to you. And it may only be a 3% difference after you get it upgraded.
Okay, so this guitar, here's the specs. Basswood. God help me. God help me.
Oh, yeah, so that could be anything.
Basswood. I know.
That could be anything.
That's fine.
So, basswood in Asia has like 5,000 species.
I know. That's just it. That's why I said, God help me, because it could weigh 40 ounces. It could weigh 200 pounds. I know I'm going way over on it.
The fretboard is blackwood.
The fretboard is blackwood. It is
what
wood.
Is that?
That is black in color. That's
they painted it or stained it black.
It's blackened.
It's maple.
It's been put on the grill and blackened. They put
it's really big
spices. It's Cajun, is what I'm trying to say. Trapezoid inlays made of what? Who knows? Cream colored binding. 22 frets, 628 millimeters because they don't know how to do inches. 43 millimeters nut width. So. We've got to pull out what is 628 millimeters? What is that? Is that 24 3/4?
Yeah.
Three-way selector switch. I do not know what the fretboard radius. Oh, the fretboard radius is 350 millimeters.
It's probably this is going to be a Les Paul knockoff, Jim. It's got to be a 12-inch radius. It's got to be a Les Paul knockoff.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. I want to get a P90 Les Paul. So.
Oh, Jim, I can't condone you buying this, but if you're going to do it, do it.
Like, they make a black one, but the black one is is not a P90.
Oh, it's a regular humbucker?
Yeah, the gold top.
Yeah, probably sounds the same.
I know, this is really it's going to be one of those things where I'm going to be for years. Whenever I meet Ryan, I'll go, oh, thanks, Ryan. Thank you very much.
Thank you for my Harley Benton SC 550. He actually liked this guitar. He bought one of these.
Did he?
And he liked it. Yeah, he liked it.
I thought I did. I thought I saw him with this one. That's why I was saying.
Yeah, he bought one of these. He bought the Fusion too, but I think he sold a lot of them. He bought them to demo them. So
yeah. Well, my understanding with him with this one wasn't this one of the ones he had in the States, right? He bought. Yeah,
Yeah, he had it. Yeah, so he bought a Fusion. He bought that. He bought their offset, which is like a Mustang.
I know he put a video up this week of, well, now it's last week, folks, when you're listening to this. So if you check out the 60 Cycle Hum podcast, put up a video where he demoed a couple more Harley Bentons while he was there. And then Philip McKnight looked for Harley Benton, who is not a person.
Yeah, like who is Harley Benton?
Yeah, and they kept telling him he was just here, he just left. He was just over there.
I do like this kit though. They got an offset. They got an offset SG kit.
Yeah, they got. I saw that.
That's like, yeah.
But
I'm not buying one. I'm not buying one.
No.
But I mean, that's pretty cool.
No.
Yeah. Anyway.
But hey, you know what? I look at it this way. I'll take a shot at.
We'll pay you out of the Patreon money, because like I don't want you to buy one, like that's silly. But I do think it would be worth you experiencing Chinese quality. He bought the MS60L VW Vintage Series or something like that.
MS60L.
Can't they like name these things? They got the Fusion. Why can't they?
Is that what the one he got was the S?
He got one of those, I think, because that's an offset.
Well, there is the SC Custom.
It's
SC
possible.
must be single custom, and the SC Tobacco Burst. You're getting up there in $254 range,
dude. Check out the BM75, BM-75.
Hold on.
Short for bowel movement.
Oh, good lord. Good lord.
Can you believe it? Like they're straight selling copies. What?
Hold on. What is it called? The BM?
The BM-75.
Oh, there it is. The Trans Red.
Yes.
Oh, that is a straight up copy of, that is a straight up copy.
That is insane.
Brian May. Yeah.
That's a red special copy.
It's a red special copy. I saw somebody demoing that. I didn't think it sounded that good.
Well, so the funny thing is they built it out of mahogany, right? The stupid thing is the original guitar is built out of oak, which is cheaper than mahogany.
Yeah, I was going to say, the original is made of oak.
This has got tone wood. This has got to be better than his.
Yeah. Oh, Brian May will want one of these. We should get one and ship it to Brian May. You're welcome.
I would. If we were a bigger podcast, I would do it. And I would be like, Brian, let us know what you think. And just to see what he says. Like, yeah, if we were a bigger podcast, it would be totally worth it. It's got 2-post bridge on it, though. And it's got Burns Trisonics in it. Well, they're not Burns Trisonics, but they're like a knockoff. They're probably just like Strat pickups.
The SC, the Harley Benton SC Custom VB, I don't know what VB stands for, is $188.
I don't know. Just get the cheap one. I wouldn't buy anything expensive.
It's 40.
I don't know. It's a cut. It's Les Paul Custom though. I think the cutaway is nicer on these. The guitar looks like it has a weight problem.
It does. It has a weird cutaway. I'm not crazy about the 3-button thing, but I'm sure I could get used to it.
Yeah.
Looks like it's got locking tuners. I don't know if
these look like they're kind of like a knockoff of a. Yeah, dude, it's got a belly cut on it too. These are a knockoff of the ESP.
Yep, it is. It's an LTD knockoff.
Yeah, you get a nice EC for a while.
Yeah.
All right. So I've been David.
I've been Jim.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
You've been the Practical Guitarist. Yeah.